With modernization, the self becomes a delocalized self which is free to seek its own identity, defining religion, theological tradition, free from customary constraints, hence deviating from the traditional way of life. Stability of one's self identity is no longer based on pre given traditional broad definition of the self. Believes that the struggles from one's individuality is only possible in modern society where religious theological traditions are gradually replaced by rational and scientific calculations, and the personal affiliation are replaced by exceedingly impersonal association brought about by urbanized way of life. The newfound freedom threatens the very authenticity of the self. Alienation, human being hunted by the very images they have created. Objectification of the body, the humanization of the self. Said that the self is the sum of individuals' action, thoughts, and feelings. Self is nothing more than a metaphor, a representation of something abstract, symbolic. It is possible for us to remember something even if we have not experienced it. Self has a continuity even if it is only a memory, either heard or witnessed which did not happen to you. A true self is not what unites these experiences, but it is the pressured unity of this experience that give rise to the concept of the self. Self is a narrative, a text written and rewritten. Self is a story. It is a dynamic. Self is a product of modern discourse that is historically and socially imprisoned by what is acceptable by norms. Self in postmodernity is complicated by electronic mediated by virtual interaction of cyber self such as change in appearance. According to Ayn Green, self is digitalized in cyberspace, a virtual version of who we are. The self is seen in website or social media such as Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Messenger, and many more. Information technology dislocates the self, thus, self is digitalized in cyberspace. Global migration produces multicultural identities. Postmodern selves are pluralized selves. Self is not discovered, it is made through the socialization process. But individuals are not just helpless victims of socialization. The individual is an active strategic agent that negotiates for the definition of himself. Self is acquired socially through language, like symbols. We construct ourselves based on our social role through socialization agent, family, school, community, and many more. Nietzsche states that the unity of the self is not pre-given but accomplished through conscious effort, transform self through beautiful work of art. Individuals must fashion, care for, and cultivate themselves. We can recreate ourselves to get hold of the present, forgive the past, and plan the future. Said that contingency of self would conceal the ugly by reinterpreting the overall aesthetic contour of the self. This does not mean that by rewriting the narrative of herself, she will discover something deep about herself. Redescribing herself is just a way of interpreting and redescribing the past. Memories and photographs and videos play a significant role in recreating the self and identity. Memory and forgetting are most important powers in recreating a person's identity. Such memories in the past includes pain, triumph, and many more. Such experiences of the past can be linked with social transformation. Another important aspect of this aspect of the self-creation is formed within imagined communities. Selves obtain their nature from cultural tradition embodied in various social interactions. These are preserved in a collective narrative which become the reservoir for the project of self-creation. Self-creation along cultural lines must be done in maximum cultural recognition of differences among and between individual and cultural groups. This is a challenge of self-identity amidst recognition of racial and ethnic identities. Self-creation is necessarily grounded on collective solidarities. We create ourselves by struggling with cultural hassle then owning the created self. We hide the ugly part of cultural nature. We learn to adjust. The quest or search for self-identity is a product of modern society, but this is complicated by the socio-cultural sensibilities of post-modernity. Information technology and globalization, reconfiguring ourselves as to gender, sex, ethnicity, and creating one's own style's signature. Yet, the project of self-creating is embedded within imagined communities. The self constantly lives in this paradox. To pursue self-creation within pre-given, not willfully chosen social circumstances.